A note to our listeners. The views and opinions expressed by our guests and hosts on the BLKFLA podcast are solely their own and do not reflect the official positions or views of any organizations, companies, or affiliations they may be associated with. Any statements made are personal opinions and should not be construed as representing their respective employers or organizations. As always, thanks for listening.
Revolution was a movie, I be theme music. Time to ignite what I spit is lighter fluid. Stepping into it, fixed rays, such a glorious design. Marching into the biggest fight of our lives. Time to spoil the revolution.
Welcome, one and all, to the BLKFLA experience. We are the cultural archive for the Black political movement in the state of Florida, where our purpose is to help you reimagine a Florida where Black people are able to live in freedom, equity, and authenticity. We are your hosts for this episode. I'm Jamal Steele, and as always,
Natasha Sutherland.
Listen, and we are taking this time to dive into all things Black politics and Black culture. Listen, we got a couple of heavy hitters that's going to be on this episode. They're going to be coming through, just popping in and out. I got people that's still like on call time for things because, you know, committee meetings, all the shenanigans of Tallahassee. We all know how those things go down. And, you know, the busy day of life. But joining us directly from the nation's capital, I have with us the senior policy manager for Black Voters Matter Fund, as well as just a dope individual, your friend and mine and ours, Miss Rhyane Wagner. What's up, Ryan?
Oh, you know, it's just another day in the occupied city of DC.
Whew. How you living up there?
I think Florida built me a certain way. So
yeah.
I don't love it. I don't want to give that impression. But you know, Florida toughened me up. 17 years in the Sunshine State, a state with which we warned people that things happening there would make its way up here. And I hate being right, but here we are. You know, Project 2025 went national very quickly. So other than that, I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, you know, you make a really good point. I mean, I was just thinking the other day when all this, and I know we'll get into this in a little bit, but just all the nonsense that we're seeing coming out of the federal government, like when you go to the websites and it's a bunch of BS on there about stuff that isn't real and whatever. We saw that already in Florida. Florida been done that, right? Like with the state government and state agencies that we're supposed to be trusting, you know, politicizing basic things like our healthcare and stuff like that. So, yeah, you're right. We just had that happen. It's crazy.
What lessons have we learned, kids? Always listen to the organizers in Florida.
Right.
Because we know what we're talking about. Because we've been dealing with this for like 20 plus years.
Or my favorite, so goes the South, so goes the rest of the country.
That's right. So goes the South, so goes America. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whether that's off a cliff.
Listen, kids. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all children of all ages, joining us, as always, it seems, from her car, is the illustrious and awesome State Representative, soon-to-be State Senator. I got to vote in 2026, kids. Vote in 2026. Your friend and mine, as well as the owner and proprietor of one of the newest law firms in the state of Florida, with her two awesome best friends, Ashley Gant and LaVon Bracy Davis. Miss Michele Rayner, what's going on, baby?
Hey.
Hey, I moved my my seatbelt, so I want y'all to get into the shirt. This hoodie. It says, "Dear Police, I am a white woman." Got David Johns, my BFF, sent it to me. So wanted y'all to get into that. Hello, how are you? Greetings and salutations.
Greetings and salutations indeed, because we're gonna get into a lot.
Yes, I'm not here for a long time, but for a good time.
For a good time, just not a long time. Because she is definitely absolutely on call time. So with that said,
nice of you to join us. I know you're booked and busy, so thank you.
Yes. Yes.
So with that said, let's get into all of the good, the bad, and the ugly of Black politics in the state of Florida. But first, we're going to touch on a little bit of cultural happenings and dealings. So as of the time of this recording, we are 16 days into the somewhat unexpected and very untimely passing of one Michael Eugene Archer, known affectionately to those within soul music and music circles altogether as D'Angelo. D'Angelo was born on February the 11th, 1974 in Richmond, Virginia. Gave us four of what I consider to be four of the greatest soul albums that you would ever hear in your lifetime. Brown Sugar, Live at the London Cafe, Voodoo, and my favorite and Rayner's favorite, Black Messiah. And if Black Messiah is the last opus, even though according to Raphael Sadiq, it is not. But just if Black Messiah is the last opus from the great Michael Eugene Archer, that's the way to go. That's a way to go. Founding member of one of the greatest music collectives that you will ever know in your lifetime, the Soulquarians. Who are the Soulquarians, might you ask? I'm glad y'all asked. It's D'Angelo, Questlove, Bilal, Erykah Badu, Q-Tip, Common, Jay Dilla,
yeah.
Talib Kweli, and Mos Def.
And James Poisner as well.
And listen, let's not forget the great pianist James Poisier. The Soulquarians between 1999 and 2001 gave us out of Electric Lady Studios four of the greatest albums you will ever know in your life. And those albums are, in chronological order, D'Angelo's Voodoo, Erykah Badu's Mama's Gun, Common's Like Water for Chocolate, and The Roots' Things Fall Apart. Now, those albums came out in that chronological order, but they were all recorded at the exact same time in Electric Lady Studios, which was the home studio of the late, great Jimi Hendrix. They wanted to channel Hendrix's energy, and they did through those albums. Before I give my last testament, if you will, of the great Mr. Archer, I would like to hear from our esteemed colleagues on the call. And I think I would be remiss if I did not start with the great Rep. Michele Rayner.
Ooh. So I'm still not okay. I'm not still not okay. So I don't know if my eulogy is going to be the greatest right now. I'm still not okay. And I'm still okay with not being okay about it. I think I know that you and I have talked a lot about this. I have loved D'Angelo before. Probably think people realize who D'Angelo, like the genius of him. I listened to Black Messiah every day for a year after my father died in 2020. Betray My Heart was actually the reason I left my first marriage, and gave me the courage to do that. I never, there was very rarely, and myself and Rep Gant were talking about it, we are trying to find other artists or think about other artists that center Black women, that write for Black people and write for Black women in the way that he did. I can't think of anyone. Also, like, and I'm not getting into the age gap and all, I don't want to hear about all that, but for him to love a Black woman like Angie Stone, and Angie Stone to be someone who I consider to be beautiful, but also looked like me, was and she was his muse, quite frankly, for the Brown Sugar album. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, but also it's just I also think that when we think about African traditional religions, ancestor veneration. He and I both grew up in church, both grew up Pentecostal. I grew up Church of God in Christ. My grandfather was an apostolic bishop. So even to see him get into that world when it wasn't as quote unquote mainstream as it is now, and it was very much like, oh, that's witchcraft. Like, oh, you don't do that. And for him to point it back to our people was something so powerful and beautiful. I saw someone on Threads, which I have lived on Threads because that has like kept me alive during this. They were like, I would be a brown, myself would be a brown sugar sun. I think a Black Messiah moon and a voodoo rising. So if y'all know about anything about
interesting, help me understand that. Help me to the marriage of astrology and this music, and I mean, So so Aquarian, I see that connection, but help me see that.
So I feel like, the sun is like your sun sign is like how you were born, who like kind of who you are. Brown Sugar is just, that album is just very sensual, very raw in a way, very just like it's just raw. It's just raw and it's beautiful and it's simple and but it's everything that it needs to be. I think my moon sign being Black Messiah, it tapped into emotions that I didn't know I was allowed to have, and emotions that I actually do have. In voodoo, the rising sign is really the way I act, my actual way of being. I believe in ancestral veneration. I believe in tapping into that part. I believe in pushing limits in things. So, voodoo pushed a lot of limits in artistry. I push a lot of limits in my legal work. I push a lot of limits in the legislature. I show up in ways that people don't think that I should show up. I have people right now saying that I shouldn't even be a senator because of my body type and how I'm dressed. And I still push those limits. And voodoo did that. And to me, that's very much of a rising sign. And I think that there's so much I could say. I don't want to take up too much space because I know other people like feel a lot, but yeah, I'm not okay. Like, I'm not okay, y'all. Like, I'm just not okay. Like, I'm just not okay. And I think that also this season, right about 2 weeks after my birthday, I always kind of get into melancholy season because we go into the holidays. Many of you know that both of my parents have transitioned, and it's just kind of always been, the last 2.5 years have been a little difficult. So it was like, this did not come at a great time. And it's hard. And I think what the beautiful part is that for Black people, there's been a collective repass, like a collective grieving. And especially for Black folks of a certain age that really understand, we really are kind of like, we're allowing ourselves to have this moment, and we're allowing ourselves to not be okay. And we're allowing ourselves not to be judged for it. And I think that there's something so beautiful in that collective grief, that collective heaviness of that. So that's all I have to say for right now.
I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you.
She said for right now, because she gonna call me tomorrow about something.
I mean, listen, I be sending videos and memes, and did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see you sent me the Questlove one? I was like, yo, I can't even do this right now. I was like,
I still haven't.
I saw him like do his head, and I said, nope, I'm not going to be taken down today. I will not be taken down today.
I haven't yet. I gotta wait for the wife to get home so that way she can hold my hand while I.
Your wife is the GOAT. Your wife is the GOAT, because finding that Brown Sugar album. Because remember, like, your wife is the GOAT. I can't even hold you.
Listen.
You messed that up. That's you. If you messed that up, that's you. That ain't her. That's you.
I spent 2 days, the 2 days after he passed, running all around Jacksonville trying to find D'Angelo vinyl. Could not find it. So Louie, Louie, my wife went to Avenues Mall.
What?
Avenues Mall.
Where the white people are.
Random FYE in Avenues Mall was ciphering through the vinyl, seeing the D'Angelo tag, and she was like, I know you lying. And pulled it, and Brown Sugar vinyl just came up. She was like, I don't care how much I can pay for this. I'm buying it right now because Jamil wants this vinyl. And I was just like, she came walking in the house. She was like, how much do I love you? And I seen the FYE bag, and I was like, we not doing this. I was like, not today. Of all days, we can't do this. And she pulled that vinyl out, and I was just like, yeah. So
That's
listen,
a real one. That's a real one.
That is. That's what that is. That's why I'm marrying her on March 14th. Shout out to the kids.
What? Congratulations.
Why are we getting married on March 14th? Shout out to the kids. Shout out to my guy, man. Broadway Louie coming through on the Ave podcast. Newly dropped mixtape album, Lou World Order. I don't listen to like 6 songs off of it. I ain't listened to the whole thing yet, so I ain't gonna hold you. But I listened to like the first 6, 7 jonks off of it. You got you one. Let make sure, from one rapper guy to another, you got you one. It's on all the streaming outlets, y'all. Lou World Order, LOU World Order. It looks just like the New World Order sign logo from WCW. Shout out to my guy Broadway Louie. He up in the place with us on today. So yeah, man. Yeah, you got you a good one. I'm gonna come to you in a minute. But I'm gonna get Ryan's thoughts on the late great Michael Eugene Archer, D'Angelo.
Before I get into that, can we talk about how Electric Lady Studios is where David Bowie, Led Zeppelin, Stevie Wonder did their best work?
Yes,
like it's something about that studio that's got the thing. It's a studio in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, where Aretha Franklin recorded some of her biggest hits. So I am one of those people who, I don't want to say I'm superstitious, but it's like it's an energy in a place. Mm-hmm. And so I came to listen to D'Angelo because of my father. And D'Angelo led me to Maxwell, and Maxwell, like, it was like this. And I can't explain it to Gen Z any other way other than you just had to be there for that level of a return to form for soul music. I hate calling it neo soul because soul is not new. It just evolves. And That's another story. Like, because for some reason, we think rock is not ours and country's not ours. All of that shit is ours. And so, and it's Southern in its roots. Like, and you could feel it in D'Angelo's lyricism, his artistry. I just love it. Like, it reminds me of Sinners. Like, it's so much South running through that thing. And if Sinners took place in like the late 90s, early 2000s, mid 90s, that's the music I feel like I would hear in that film. And so for me, it was like a breath of fresh air. And it was so Black and unapologetically so. Like Lauryn Hill, Fugees, it just brings back an era where it was so much diversity in sound, and not this obsession with commercial success. Which there was an article about is hip hop starting to slide in terms of its popularity and whatnot. And I'm like, maybe commercial hip hop is. And then Billboard obviously did this rules change, which it was kind of like the Grammys did Beyonce and Cowboy Carter. So I took that with a grain of salt, right? Because 9 times out of 10, what we're listening to may not be what's on those charts, right? We're in the age of social media, YouTube. Like, I quit Spotify, so I don't count them. They like to fund ICE and whatnot and run commercials. But D'Angelo, it was kind of my primer for Maxwell. Even like Maxwell's tribute was so beautiful. He was like, I wouldn't be here without D'Angelo. And he's like, I'm not from the South. I'm from New York. I got Puerto Rican and Haitian parents. And this was years ago. This was before D'Angelo died. He was like, it was a space where I felt welcome, even though I wasn't from the South. And like, it reminds me of the Stax Records sound that I grew up listening to, the staple singers, Willie Mitchell, that sound, Al Green. It had everything and more, but for a newer generation. And if you listen to some of, it's 2 Al Green songs that I think of, like For the Good Times and obviously Love and Happiness, that organ in the background. That's how D'Angelo felt for me. It was soulful. It was, you could tell he was a PK. And there's a video of him when he was 18 years old performing in church. And it's just some stuff you can't teach. And and it's God-given. And it's so rare. We're so used to a world full of entertainers. And I miss that era, honestly, where it was just straight up singing, not a lot of pyrotechnics, straight up instrumentation. That's part of the reason why I love vinyl so much, not just because my dad taught me right. It was an era where you had to know how to sing, know how to like produce, do all the things, because you weren't gonna have these huge teams of folks helping you do that. So you really had to know your instrument and perform live. That was like, we all know a certain artist out here, J-Lo, that can't sing. She can dance, but she can't sing. Like,
yeah, it's crazy that she's from the same era.
It's not an unheard of comment from anybody for anybody to make. I'm not taking away her other talents, but sis was a fly girl first. But like D'Angelo was that one that opened up a whole wide world for me. And it was just something missing at the time that he just kind of brought back, like just reminded me of that soul, that soulfulness in his music that you just, it's some artists I like now, but they wouldn't be here without that foundation. And I love me some Erykah Badu too. Mama's Gun was one of my favorites, and her live albums, her live twists on songs are some of my favorites. Like, and you have to go to the concert, be present. We didn't have our phones everywhere recording everything. And so like I said, if you weren't there, you missed it. Mm-hmm. You missed it. And so, and I hate that for this generation. I hope they have something close, but it just reminds me of a time where it was just straight out the gate, like that Love Jones era of just damn good music, and it felt like hours, and it wasn't mainstream. I'm sorry for being long-winded.
No, you go.
Jamil, can I say this? I think Ryan hit on something. And my homegirl, if y'all follow her on Instagram, Amber Phillips, Amber Abundance on Instagram, you said that D'Angelo was unapologetically Black, and she took it even further, that he always picked the Blackest option. It was always the Blackest option. And I don't know if Gen Z has anything like that, because I'm going to say some of these boys out here, like, I love me a Leon Thomas, I love me some of this Masego, but they don't write for the Black gaze. They don't write for the Black option. Everyone she just named literally wrote for the Black gaze, period, full stop. And that is something that, to her point, you had to be there. You had to be there.
Yeah, it was given Marvin Gaye. Like Marvin Gaye wrote for us in that way. Correct. And so it was nice to have that.
Louie, as an artist who, one of the reasons as to why I always attach myself to you is because I see how you tap into the unapologeticness of, who you are, how you represent music and whatnot. As an artist, what did D'Angelo's passing do to you, and how much of an impact has it had on you within these last 16 or so days?
It was ironic listening to her break down how we had those specific artists that were unapologetically Black. And you know me, I don't hold it back for anybody. It starts with my mother though. Like when I was growing up, rap wasn't as popular as it is now. Now it's acceptable and everybody accepts it. But when I was growing up, that generation still was kind of hesitant to embrace rap, right? So I only could listen to certain ones. And I just said this on another interview, but my mother let me listen to Queen Latifah. She had Salt and Pepper. She had D'Angelo, Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke, Clarence Carter, all these super Black artists. And Maxwell, D'Angelo, all these guys, I would watch them on screen and it would be different for me because I grew up in the projects in New Jersey. You didn't see guys walking around with fros, with braids and nothing on. They just showing how we can be unapologetically sexy on screen as well as a Black man, right? Because they always sell us Dirty Dancing Patrick Swayze. They always sold us on Tom Cruise being, but here we are on BET, MTV, seeing these guys, seeing specifically D'Angelo, a young kid singing Brown Sugar, right? Just everything about it felt like that's what I want to be like. It's almost like I grew up without a father. I didn't have a father in the household. So I looked at TV, I looked at people around me, guys around me to, get my influence from. So guys like D'Angelo, I watched them and read their interviews, saw how they interacted in interviews, saw how they spoke about other artists. I watched how Prince empowered us to the max. You know what I'm saying? So I think all of them hurt the same. I can't speak to just D'Angelo. Every time one of them passed, it's like a part of me passes away, even though I wasn't even in that generation where it would have hit me the way it hit others. But in the same sense, it's every time we lose one of them, it's like a piece of me dies away because it's I know we don't have that no more. We don't have, she spoke about, I love Leon Thomas. I love the Masegos. I love the Gibeons. But when you listen to those guys, unfortunately, nothing against them, you don't feel that emotion. Nobody's singing in the rain no more. Nobody's dancing and singing in the rain or giving me that feeling that I got when I watched those guys sing their love songs. And my album Magic, I created my album Magic specifically for Black women because when I listen to hip hop, I don't hear a lot of love for Black women. And I didn't grow up on a generation where we call the Black woman B-word and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't grow up on that. I grew up on that. You get smacked in the face, you call a woman that. I still kind of abide by that. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm flawed as well. However, when it comes to respect for our women on camera and in music more than ever, I feel like it's our duty to respect them and show them the love that they deserve as those guys before us came. You know what I mean? So D'Angelo, all the news hurts the same, bro. Like, it just hurts the same. I'm still mourning from Nip passing away, bro. Like, it seems like every time I think I'm past it, and I'm still surprised at the effect that it has on me, because I didn't know these people personally. But it's, again, we all one soul. So it's like when they pass away and I grew up on you, I feel it. I feel bad that these kids didn't have that connection with some of these artists to where they could understand why they had that impact on us. Why my mother felt the need to even play that for me to feel that connection. She forced it on me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Every time my mother got out of the car, I changed the radio station right back to Hot 97 so I could hear some rap. As soon as she got back in the car, she turned it right back to the soul. She knew what she was doing, bro. I asked butt whippings, excuse my language. When I got butt whippings, I had to write an essay every single time on Black history. So everything tied into, you know, my Blackness and me being unapologetic about it. But as an artist, you know, it's important that we maintain that, especially in today's environment when they trying to silence us on every account. Like, if I don't say nothing, who gonna say something? I lose fans on a basis, I'm sure. I look at my numbers. I don't care though, because it's people that went before me that sacrificed their voices in places that they could probably get into and get paid more money to make sure that we had a voice later on. So rest in peace to one of the legends. I'm thankful for his impact on me, even as a rapper. I was a poet before I was a rapper, and I was influenced the same as singers. So yeah, sorry that was lengthy, but yeah. Oh, also, shout out to your wife for finding something at FYE, because what? This is 2025. Who's still going to FYE?
I didn't even know that FYE was still in business. I'm going to be honest with you.
For real. Neither did I.
I had Tower Records.
Avenues.
I'm going to date myself.
Yes, that one. At Avenues Mall. Yeah.
And Avenues Mall, which is like the white mall, the white people mall. Like, that's crazy as hell. That's crazy as hell.
Shout out. Natasha.
Man, I feel like y'all really covered it pretty well. I will say one thing that for me was particularly sad was that he passed the day after my birthday. And that was just, I was just so shocked and just, yeah, I think, Louie, the way you talked about your youth and like how, that type of music and D'Angelo specifically was a part of your life. Like I was growing up as this music was a part of my life, right? And becoming a woman and like my first crushes and listening to, How Does It Feel on repeat for I don't know how many, trying to sing along with my terrible voice, like, or in the shower, so he was young too. That's the other part of it. He was only 51 and it just, I'm still a little bit in shock with it all. And it kind of represents, for me anyway, as we lose these people that were so impactful in our lives and in our youth and in a time when, like Ryan was talking about, like everything happened in real life and real connection. And if you weren't there, you missed it. And, that kind of thing. Like that's what our youth was all about. That was a time and a world, I think, that had a lot more hope, at least for me, where the future felt full of promise. And when you had musicians like this that were just pure, raw, God-given talent, and they made music for the sake of expression and for art in its own right, and to celebrate life and to give voice to so many human, experiences like love and family and, all of these different things. And so I agree, like just doesn't feel the same nowadays, right? With what's out there. And I still listen to these folks. Like I still listen to Erykah Badu. I still listen to The Roots. I still listen to Q-Tip. Like I am frozen there, right? But when a D'Angelo passes away, I get like shaken back into the present and reminded that I'm not there anymore. And that was, decades ago. And I look around and I'm like, what is this world that I'm in that doesn't have a D'Angelo in it anymore, right? Like it's a lot. It's a lot. It's heavy.
It's like America. We peaked in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was all downhill from there.
Yeah, the music peaked in the 90s and early 2000s, and now what do we got?
Like, that's how it feels. Like,
I say it on a regular basis. I say it on a regular basis. First of all, D'Angelo had me in the mirror at like 12 years old trying to figure out how to get a six pack. Like,
right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, D'Angelo, health is wealth. D'Angelo said I should be healthy. I was eating carrots and broccoli trying to look like D'Angelo. But to tie to that point, I've repeated that sentiment like so many different times that I feel like the 90s, early 2000s time period, it's like this golden time period for film, music, fashion, all across the board, where it's almost like if you were able to live during that time period, seeing what's going on right now, it's like, how did we get here when it seemed like it was more love? Like I don't know. Like I miss knowing my neighbors and being able to just like you could just get some. You don't have that no more. You don't have that in the movies no more. I was complaining about as a Black actor how like, you know, I don't have Black films to be in no more. Like there aren't any Love and Basketballs for me to look forward to anymore because Hollywood has cut our budgets down so much that I can't even look forward to starring in the next Black movie unless it's Black Panther. And I ain't getting that no time soon. So where do I get my Love and Basketball? Where do I get my brown sugar at? It's unfortunate that we don't have that anymore. We had shows upon shows upon shows. We had movies on movies. We had 5-6 movies that were just comedy alone. We don't get any of that no more. And it's just like every time we lose one of those statues that of ours, it's like she said, it's a reminder that we are so far gone from where we used to be. And now you look at the exceptions of AI and everything else. It's like we're getting further away than we're getting closer. At this point, I'm almost wishing that there will be another reset technology wise to where we got to go back to the 90s. I don't know. Like it's cool that everything is advancing technology wise for health reasons and everything else. But it seems like when it creeps over to that art world, like how long before now somebody takes D'Angelo's estate or takes D'Angelo's voice and now goes to try to create new music with D'Angelo? Because that's where we're headed now. And it's a disgusting thought to even think. But unfortunately, you literally have Timberland doing what he's doing, where it looks like he's about to use Aaliyah's voice in AI, right? So it's like,
and Prince didn't want any of this. He said, I did not want to be a hologram.
And it's nice to see where we've gotten. And that's where it's like, like she said, the impacts of these losses feel a lot stronger, not just because, hey, yeah, this is a person we lost who created great art for us, but also this person is a reflection of where we used to be in society that we don't see anymore. At this point, it's like to put out an album called Black Messiah, you might be called racist.
Oh, no. You're going to get every troll. You're going to get doxxed. You're going to get... Yeah,
the woke, anti-woke folks, these media mergers with Larry Ellison, they're trying to completely control even the creative space.
NBC firing all their Black people and all the
Absolutely.
people. All this is and this is so hard for me as an entertainer because I love my art, and that's the difference between me and a lot of. That's why I'm so vocal. That's why I get on the porch fests and say, hey, this is a rap stage. This is a Black stage. I need y'all to know this. I know they bring a lot of white people around, and I know that's what it looks like. But I need y'all to also know that we're here for a reason. But it's like they're closing a lot of spaces for that, and I'm praying to God that the people that are in position, which they haven't proven so far that they would, but they start to realize that we need to invest in our own platforms. Build platforms up like this one, build platforms up like On The Ave, build platforms up because like somebody like Abby Phillips, she doesn't need to be on CNN arguing with that white man that just looks at her every day with disgust and spews out whatever lie he can lie on. We need our own platforms. Because bro, I be watching this stuff and it's disgusting how they don't even hide it anymore.
At all.
Like we don't like y'all. We don't like anything that y'all bring around us. And also we want to take every influence you have away and silence your voice while you're at it. And it's
and
so
not
annoying.
Give you credit for your work like TikTok.
Or not give you credit. There was, my mom used to say this, and I didn't understand until I got older. And my mother was in the civil rights movement. She integrated University of South Florida. And my mom said integration was the worst thing that could have ever happened to Black people.
So I was literally just about to say something to that effect, Michele, because I was thinking, what has changed, right? Y'all were talking about like folks like D'Angelo, where it wasn't, the music wasn't mainstream, right? And so we could be pure, we could be our real selves and all of that. And so exactly what you're saying is that the second that now all of a sudden, you were talking about the shows, Louie, right? Like we don't have our own movies, because now we've got the one or two little black friends on the white show and in the black, in the white movie. So it's like it completely erased us having reversal. And needing our own thing. Right. And that, and part of that is exactly this sort of hyper integration, whatever. And so now that we're post-racial, we don't need diversity, equity, and inclusion anymore. Right. Because everything's fine now. Right. And it's like what that did was
I got Obama.
Well,
that's
listen,
what they said.
Right,
I got Obama.
But what happened is it's brilliant because now that we don't have our
from
own,
you on the way there.
Right. But now that we don't have our own thing anymore and we don't even have our own communities feeding each other, now they're pulling the rug out from under us, right? Now that we've completely eliminated all the things that are for our community.
I mean, Bob Johnson sold BET as soon as he could.
Right.
And now look
the
at
moment he could.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had things, but capitalism got a hold of these folks that ran those things.
Chokeholds.
Yeah, we had a false sense of security that we could do that.
Continue to run those things. They still in the same positions doing the same.
He sold out as soon as he had the opportunity.
Yeah.
I remember Ed Gordon.
Yeah.
I remember like 106 and Park in the afternoon. It was because I didn't want to, like, I watched TRL like with Carson Daly back when. Didn't know some of them folks are pushing 70 now, but but like was it Kurt Yeager? Yes.
Yeah.
But like Kennedy is on Fox News now, like, which is weird. I'm like, I remember you from MTV, but like BET was playing Michael Jackson when MTV refused to do so, and David Bowie had to call him out in an interview. Like, like you utter refusal to play Michael Jackson. He's the highest selling artist in the world, and you don't want to play his music video until David Bowie had to call you out. And shout out to David Bowie. He was always like, stop doing black artists like you doing them, right? Like, but BET was one of the few places we had. And then Bob Johnson started to care more about the almighty dollar. And here we are. And it just kind of precipitated this decline. And it doesn't help that there's this anti-DEI, momentum happening. I always would say they would steal from us. Like, you wouldn't have a New Kids on the Block without New Edition.
Right. Like, you had Friends without the Cosby Show.
Right.
You want Friends without Living Single. Oh, did you know that? This ties in, but it's a little fact. Did you know that Married with Children, they originally planned on calling Married with Children not the Cosbys, because they wanted a direct response to the loving family dynamic that the Cosbys pushed out. Like, and then you look at NBC right now, like, they're completely opposite of what they used to do. You had Eddie Murphy, who blew Saturday Night Live up. You had the Cosbys, who blew NBC up. And now it's like, you're doing this. It's so crazy. But I want to ask you guys, you as a black woman, because I often find myself defending him because I was raised by a single mother, but also I got two daughters, and I've been raised by black women majority of my life. So when I watch Tyler Perry movies, even though I don't enjoy all of them, because I'm tired of their plight, you know what I mean? But in the same sense, it is somebody's life. He's one of the only pro-black guys that we have in those positions that, outrightly is black, puts black people in his projects, unapologetically black when it comes to casting black characters. How do you guys feel about Tyler Perry? I don't mean to jack your podcast, Jamil. Because we have none but with you. I'm curious because I always hear from uneducated people. No, I want to say uneducated people. Let me not disrespect people like that. But people that don't think with critical thinking, right?
That's a good word.
So I'm just curious on how
you nicer than me, yes. Lack of critical thinking.
So I think for me, and I'm gonna hop in a minute, but I think for me, it comes back to how do you define pro-black, right? So to me, you start there, because my definition of pro-black, Tyler Perry doesn't necessarily fit into that. That's just me. That's Michele K. If pro-black means you give black people opportunities, Most certainly he's pro-Black. If pro-Black means that you do and you employ people, that is pro-Black. If pro-Black means that you co-opt the American dream and you're a Black man that's able to do it and you wear $100,000 outfits, that is pro-Black. I think that for me, and if he is listening, I mean this with all love and sincerity, I do need you to donate to my campaign, so do not take this wrongly, Tyler Perry. But your storytelling is lazy. It is not full of nuance of what the Black experience is. Black people are not a monolith. Not every woman has to end up having AIDS at the end of some story. Now, I'm not gonna hold you. I do watch Beauty in Black. That is I'm not gonna hold you. That is my stories. That how your grandma had her stories. Those are my stories. Okay, but
and I do watch Sisters.
Okay, so I'm not gonna hold you. And all the Queen's Men, some of this. I'm not gonna hold you. Some of it is really actually entertaining. I think though, especially there's a time and a place for that. So if you want to be entertaining, be entertaining. But then when people call you out on your foolishness, don't be like, well, I'm pro-Black. No. Either be who you are, and that's fine. Or if you want to be this elevated writer that you assert yourself to be, then do that. Because right now, it's lazy. It's lazy. Now, like I said, I'm gonna watch Beauty in Black. I gotta catch up on the new season because baby, it's good. And that's for me to shut my brain off. But he's had opportunities to really tell stories in real ways that capture Black folks. And that is not for the white gaze, and that is not for buffoonery and coonery, and he's chosen not to do that. And that does not take away from all of the other good works he may or may not have done throughout his life and helping folks and all of those kinds of things. I'm not taking away from that, but if we're talking just strictly about that, critically looking at that, I think it comes back to the question I have: how do you define pro-Black?
Okay, so I got a question just to that. My bad. So I think with that, whereas I don't necessarily look at him as not pro-Black because certain projects highlight certain traumas on a repeated basis. Because I think that's a thin line, because in white Hollywood, they create whatever story they want repeatedly. Law and Order has been running on for 30 years. Mm-hmm. The stories, I don't even know who's on them no more, but when I was a kid, the stories was old. So they've been doing the same stories repeatedly. Not to say that we have to, but what I'm saying is that where is the disconnect of doing that to fund all the other good projects? Because House of Pain I feel like was a great until Janine kept getting on drugs and just kept running. That's besides the point. I look at it like in Hollywood, everybody else gets the opportunity to create their work and cash the checks that brings them the money. And then spread it amongst each other. But in our community, instead of just allowing those artists to be the artists that they are, because if you look across the board, we have different directors that do different things. So if I'm Tyler Perry and I continue to make all this money off of this, and I could continue to pour into Taraji P. Henson, the Viola Davises, all these people that are underpaid when they go to other companies, is that necessarily on him to be more pro-Black in that type of work? Because if they don't do it with him, they're going to do it elsewhere. And
that's fine. And that's fine.
I'm not saying that to disagree, for the record. I don't disagree.
No.
I definitely feel like Ryan has gotten a little, but I will say that, but also when I watched the last one, I literally watched it with a woman who identified directly with the story in front of her. And when the movie was all said and done, she felt like she related and she felt like it was a better movie than how everybody responded. I just worry that, are we so critical in our community that sometimes you have these people in these positions and we kind of, I don't know. Can we have unrealistic standards sometimes for these people where it's like they got to do every single thing right in order to, I'm just asking because I'm curious.
No, I mean, I think that's a real question. I mean, I guess for me, like, I mean, are you talking about the last movie where the lady, like, she was about to rob a bank because her kid was sick or whatever? Do you talk about that movie?
Yeah, well, Shirley didn't try to rob the girl, but she had been through that situation where her kid passed away and a whole bunch of things happened within that week and a half. So I was like, dang, well, you know, yeah.
Yeah, no. So here's the thing. I didn't watch that movie. I'm okay with trauma porn. I'm okay. Like, being Black in America being a Black woman in America is more than a notion. It's enough for me. I hold, my thing is, I don't view stuff from the lens of white folks and white supremacy. I view it from the lens of Black people. And if you say, and so I do honor the fact that he does create these opportunities for Black artists, like, because to your point, there's very few people that actually intentionally do that. But, like, my God, can we get something besides Black women being beaten the hell down? Like, my God, like, I mean, and if that works for him and that's his kink, that's what gets him.
No, I'm with you.
Cool. But Jesus Christ, like, and so for me, it's like, I just choose not to watch it personally. And if people, but also I understand, and I'm not going to take away or dishonor folks that actually does, you know, speak to them, because that's what art is supposed to do. And that's his art. It's just not my art. But I mean, if I'm defining pro-Black as giving opportunities to Black folks, then he pro-Black. Michele K. Rayner will continue to watch Beauty and Black, and that will be about it.
I mean, I don't pedestal people like that. Right. And the silence of Black celebrities around what's going on in the country has been deafening. But these aren't new things, right? With Black elitism and the bougie Blacks, and like, but when you call them on it, we pocket watching all of a sudden. But we are in these crazy fascist times, and like, I'm not hearing the waves of commentary I was hearing after George Floyd died. So in that respect, I'm deeply disturbed. But I also don't pedestal these people. Black faces in high places will not save us. And we need to get comfortable with that. And even the famous ones, they can give to charity all they want. But we are in times where infrastructure needs to be rebuilt, okay? And also, having read Richard Wright and Zora Neale Hurston, this is literally the same thing they used to argue over, how Black people should be, if you will, represented in literature. Zora Neale Hurston had an anthropology background. She was like, I'm going to represent them how I see them. Like, and Richard Wright was on his respectability shit. So this is not a new debate by any means. Because we are in a white supremacist country that does not allow us to even be mediocre if we want to be, right? Mm-hmm. White people are allowed to be and exist as they are, whatever that looks like. You can be a 34 count felon and be president of the United States. That is okay. And that is not an indictment of white people as a community. But when we do something, when one individual does something, it's an indictment of the entire community. When Barack Obama becomes president, racism is over, guys. Our jobs here is done. But you and I both know better. There was going to always be a backlash, because God damn it, how y'all let him get in our house? You mean the house we built with our bare hands that you just destroyed the east wing of? Because you wanted a ballroom paid for by private corporations? Get out of here.
Let's say that.
I don't want to hear that.
We about to get into that. I gotta give my eulogy. But we're gonna get into that.
Don't get me started now, brother.
If you want to bring me here regularly, you can, man. I just love being here.
Give your eulogy. But to Ryan's point, I don't pedestal Black folks or white folks. And at the end of the day, I mean, I would be considered bougie Black. I'm a link, I'm a Delta, I'm elected, whatever. And I literally push back against everything that's respectable at any and all times. Don't know how I got in any of these people's institutions or organizations as a Black queer woman who is just out here. I really don't. Because I asked him, like, you know, I don't I don't do this.
Yeah.
But here I am.
Like,
do you know who
have y'all
I
been
am?
on her Facebook page?
No, it's not even Facebook. It's really the private Instagram that is full of shenanigans. Like, I mean,
have y'all been there?
I come with a disclaimer, so
listen. Jamil knows he's on my close friends, and he knows.
Listen, have y'all been there?
Shit I post.
That's
I be shocked
shenanigans.
every time they call me because I'm like, y'all know what I talk about, right? Like, y'all see what I post on a regular basis.
Listen, it's a zoo.
But when Porch Fest hired me last year, right? I found out because we were kind of pissed. They won't allow Porch Fest to call us hip hop. And I was like, I spoke to Porch Fest about it. I'm like, hey, why are the Flyers calling me an R&B singer? Why are they calling him a soul? And they came to say that the insurance company said that we can't call it hip hop because they won't cover the porches. I literally, they do a little survey. I typed out a whole little 7-page letter on how I felt about that, how much work we did as hip hop artists and in our community to make this a respectable art. Like, that's kind of a disservice to us and the people that came before us. I just knew they wouldn't call me back. And they called me back. They called you back again this year with more money. And I said, y'all know I'm going blacker this time, right? Like, y'all do know that, right? Like, because there's some things I gotta speak on, bro. It's so many tragedies going on right now. And I was in the studio rehearsing with my band, bro, and they don't even have a clue. Like, dark-skinned brothers, Mexican brothers, they don't have a clue that there are laws being changed right now to take away their voting rights. Like, they have no clue. They was like, bro, how do you know all this? And I'm like, bro, I read. Like, I pay attention to what's going on in the news. Like, I look things up. Like, I'm not one of the other guys I'm not going straight to ChatGPT, bro. Like, that's cool. I appreciate ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is killing people. I don't know if they know that either. You know what I mean? So it's just like so many things that they're uninformed on. And it's like, I hope y'all know, Porch Fest, that's when I'm coming to, like, this is what I do. Like, I have a platform, and I that's why I love being in this room, because I can come in this room and just like soak it all in and like, yeah, I'm good. Y'all gonna get all this blackness because it feels good to hear it. Because when she said that, bro, I'm like, I go in the rooms on a regular basis, and I'm so black that I don't know how y'all be comfortable with me in there. I'm pretty sure.
Like, are you sure?
And I think that's the joy of the art that we create. I think that's the joy of how we move as artists. Bro, like, I literally was on the bus heading to DC for the first day of hearings for the Louisiana Calais case. And the bus was literally crossing. See, this is how euphoric it was. The bus was literally crossing the North Carolina, Virginia line when my phone dinged and it said D'Angelo died. Yeah. Like, we was literally crossing into Virginia.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, and I got up from my seat, went into the bathroom where the bus was at, and I just, cause my godbrother Stanley McAllister, he was on the bus with us heading to DC. He looked at me. He was like, "Did you hear about that?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You're not okay." I was like, "No, I'm not at all." Voodoo is my favorite D'Angelo album, and the reason Voodoo is my favorite D'Angelo album is because it takes me back to a place of where I'm the preacher's kid that identified with wanting to bring the secular into the spiritual and wanting to bring the spiritual into the secular. And he did that D'Angelo did that in the most phenomenal way possible. Questlove taught me how to play drums directly from that album. I used to sit in my dad's church with my headphones on and my CD Walkman in my lap and emulate all the drum licks and everything from Voodoo and incorporate it into the songs and stuff that we were singing as a choir in church. I have the distinct honor of my cousin, my actual cousin, my actual real life cousin. I have the distinct honor of my actual real life cousin being Sleepy Brown. And like I had a whole living embodiment of cool and suave and debonair in the house at Thanksgiving and Christmas. But I count him as well as D'Angelo as the two reasons as to why I know how to love, appreciate, and respect Black women. And I don't just mean like, I don't just mean like Black women as a race, but like chocolate, thick, full-figure Black women. And like,
we love you for it. Thank you.
For sure. And I'm like, Michele, I'm not okay. I'm still not okay. It's a page on Instagram. It's called D'Angelo_FP. It's like the D'Angelo fan page. And it took them a while. Like it took their fan page a while. But yesterday they made a tribute video. And it was to D'Angelo singing the intro to like his Black Messiah set. And the intro to his Black Messiah set was him singing over the J Dilla beat, Welcome to the Show, on J Dilla's last album, Donuts, which ironically, that beat is the very last beat on the Donuts album. And the beat samples Motherlode song, When I Die. And the lyrics are literally just, when I die, I hope I'll be the kind of man that you thought I would be. And D'Angelo was coming out on stage, literally singing that. And then the beat plays is how, and the live band is playing the beat, like how J Dilla chopped up the beat on Donuts. And D'Angelo is literally just singing over and over again, when I die, the kind of man that you and I lost it yesterday. Cause that was like, it's like serendipity, because D'Angelo and J Dilla were in Soulquarians together. And J Dilla was the first one to go out of everybody. And so like the only two people that are not still living in Soulquarians right now is J Dilla and D'Angelo. The pulse of the Soulquarians was Dilla. The soul of the Soulquarians was D'Angelo. And the pulse and the soul of their collective are now gone. And that's literally, because they've never done a song together. Except for Tell Me on Slum Village's first album. But like J Dilla actually being able to produce a song for D'Angelo never happened. And then D'Angelo heard that beat and was like, man, like, yo, I'm gonna start using that as my intro for when I go out on this Black Messiah tour. And it's very fitting that that's the way that we are able to bid farewell to a man that literally, time and time again, every time he was asked about, you know, how do you feel about being the forebearer? I'll get to that in a second too, Michele. How do you feel about being the forebearer of neo soul? He always said, I don't make neo soul music. I make Black music. And So Far to Go was actually like one of those posthumous type deals. posthumous type deals as well, because the So Far To Go beat is actually a beat on Jay Dilla's Donuts album called Bye. And then Common took it, was like, yo, I'm gonna throw D on it. And that's how you get So Far To Go. But yeah, bro's always like, I make black music. I make black music. And that's the greatest joy of being a D'Angelo fan and being a D'Angelo follower, is that you understood that there are going to be people that's going to try to co-opt who he is as an artist and who he is as a person. But as much as the whites want to try to co-opt him, it's not going to happen, because he distinctively told people, I make music for us. My movement is for us. We have, and this is going to be the way that we're going to slide into the rest of this podcast. We have Black Christians sitting on social media right now telling people that they Christian before they Black. We have Black Christians sitting on social media right now.
Sir, that's a whole nother episode, brother.
Listen,
That's really
you know
interesting.
I gotta Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off.
Just dropping this like.
And it was a whole nother episode. It was the previous episode.
I feel like we've done this episode.
I'm glad I missed that episode.
We've done this episode before, but yeah, go check it out. Jesus is Black. It was the previous episode. Shout out to my two good brothers, Pastor Tyler Burns out of Pensacola.
Right. Yes. Watch it. Yes, I did watch it.
And Pastor Anthony Davis out of New York. Watch it. It's a great episode. It's phenomenal.
Friends, I got a hot, but love y'all. Love y'all.
I love you.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
We got Black Christians that's literally telling people to denounce they Greek-letter organizations, but you won't denounce the white supremacy that's going on in the White House.
Listen, brother, when I started getting into arguments on my social media and in real life with people that I love that are in the church, and they started telling me that they voted for this man, but I'm befuddled. I'm befuddled by how Christianity has now become the face front of racism. Like for real, like Christianity is now
Christian nationalism, brother. Warren treated a country group that was begging for our support.
Listen, I don't. You know what I just found out today? They got rid of the entire department that monitors domestic terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They got rid of the entire department. There's nobody in the office to even pay attention to.
That's on purpose. DOJ is now, however, investigating Black Lives Matter movement for fraud.
I'm really bro, like it's brothers. Like, you know, I was in the military, bro. I got brothers that I despise, and I can't speak to you. Like I only time I think about you is when I think about the fact that you voted for this man, and I have to look every single day and watch him dismantle society. Not just our society, it's everybody at this point. Like, right. As a whole, the ignorance and the miseducation and misinformation that's going on, to where, like, bro, I be telling people the truth and give them the link, give them the direct information, the reference and everything, and they still will debate based off of a TikTok video that they saw of somebody who just regurgitated where they got from an email.
Right.
Bro, I get those I don't even know how I got on their list for them, Donald Trump and them to send me emails, but I get them emails somehow. And bro, I literally look at those emails, bro. Every email is asking for them to donate money to the Trump administration. Every single. Can you imagine being in the military and taking $500 from a foreign national?
And why do we have to?
Saudi?
And why do we have to donate? Why do we have to donate to his administration?
He need to go talk to his friends in Saudi Arabia.
At Bank of America, dog, you can't accept a gift. I can't accept a gift from somebody working on trust funds. I can't accept a $50 gift from you. But my president, who has 34 felonies, by the way, I lost a job with Chase because when I broke my ankle, I owed child support. The Chase job was $48 an hour. I couldn't get hired for that job because I was behind on child support from an ankle accident. We have a president right now who has 34 felonies. Actually, probably more than that. It's probably more. You know, they do the least with them. They let them get away with it. 34 is more than enough, though, bro. I can't do this, but you can be the president and change you let that dude Elon Musk come in there and benefit himself and change all these things and get right back out, and then y'all go run it. Are we living in the real world, bro? Is this real? Like, for real? Let's really talk about this. Are we not in a simulation at this point? Because is this not idiocracy? What is going on exactly to where this is all okay? And it's like, yeah, people are speaking up about it, but like, are we really speaking up? Are they really realizing what's going on? Like this, we're this close to dystopia.
So currently in the state of reality, even though I do feel like we're in idiocracy, currently in the state of reality, we are currently in I'll just say day 30, even though it feels a lot longer, of a whole government shutdown. A government shutdown, by the way, that in 2 days, as of this recording, in 2 days, will cause 42 million Americans. Only 12%. So let's look at this. Let's look at this from just regular natural numbers. If I put 100 people in a line and pull 12 people out, that's how many people losing food stamps, losing SNAP benefits in 2 days.
Also, the impact on the economy, dog. From what I read,
don't forget about the ACA tax breaks. This is folks with jobs with health insurance.
So the and of course, you know, we have our great friend / co-host / executive director of Florida Watch, which is what I like to call the communications leg of Florida organizing. Miss Natasha Sutherland here with us. This whole government shutdown is due to the fact that this budget bill that the Republicans want to pass, the Democrats don't want to pass it.
Is that the
because
reason
it's going to permanently take away everyone's health care.
Wait, is that the reason for the shutdown though? That's the reason for the shutdown. It ain't got nothing to do with the other stuff. The shutdown is because they don't want to swear Shorty in. I mean, they don't want to get her in there because they know.
To be fair, it wasn't Project 2025.
However, right.
It's so more to this than starving people, right? He does not want the Epstein files released either, right? Magic Mike. I have a myriad of names for him. Closed Congress earlier this year. Refused to swear in Congresswoman-elect from, I believe, Arizona. Because she said, she's like, oh yeah, we're gonna release them because I'll be the tie-breaking vote. And so that this is everything to do with protecting this dictator in chief.
It's crazy because everywhere.
What did he say yesterday? He's like, a shutdown's fine. We don't need Congress to do what we need to do. And unfortunately, I feel like he's right because he's been doing whatever the hell he wants since he got reelected.
This whole time.
He said he told the courts who gonna check me, boo, as soon as SCOTUS gave him presidential immunity.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep.
We are not only seeing them basically check off everything in Project 2025. He said, icing on the cake, I ain't got to release these Epstein files. I'm the president.
That part.
Ain't it
And what I say goes.
punishing their people like for being associated. Prince Andrew just lost his royal title.
Finally.
The other, where is it? Not Venezuela. One of them other officials somewhere else in another country that was directly associated with Trump. They got it.
BB Netanyahu's probably in them files too.
They got. It's so crazy that and then they keep pardoning all these pedophiles. This is my disdain with Trump voters, right? It's not the fact that you voted for, you voted for immigration policies. It's not none of that. It's the fact that it's what you ignored when you voted for this person.
Right.
Because it's always some on both sides. Clinton wasn't no good. We always voting for the lesser evils, unfortunately, until we finally get some power. But it's like, what you voted for, what you ignored when you voted for it, that's my problem with you. And that's why I don't look at y'all the same. You 100%. Voted for somebody knowing that they sexually assaulted women. You voted for somebody knowing it's a whole documentary on his association with Epstein and showed how he bought a whole kid pageant to look at little girls in the dressing room. This was already out before he even ran the second time around. Y'all allowed it the first time. Okay, cool. He tricked y'all. He showed y'all what he did the first time around. There was nothing good about it at all.
But the border, Louie, that's the
border
thing,
and the brown people,
right? It's racism. That's it.
But what's wild about all of this? He's exposed his base to not only is this impacting them in a way that they thought wouldn't, right? Like they're like, we voted to be racist, not poor, that type of thing. And now the chickens are coming home to roost.
That's a bumper sticker, so Ryan. We need to turn that into something. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
But that's what it is, right? Like white supremacy got you all twisted up in a bunch to the point where you are now out in the cold without food assistance. And it's not a secret that it's more white women, because we get accused of all these things.
Welfare claims.
And poverty allegedly is some sort of character flaw in this country. But yeah, look, F around and find out.
And I also want
inside the house.
I also want to bring up the fact that despite the government shutting down, most, if not every state in this country has emergency funds that can be used to prevent SNAP benefits from being shut down.
Right now to get access to them because he shut down access apparently for some of those states. So they're suing a bunch of states.
USDA had additional funds and they outright refused to even use them.
How do you imagine a president that got sued like as many times? Like he gets sued on a regular basis, and
it's at least 6 or 7 cases with his name on it as SCOTUS right now this term.
Mm-hmm.
And
21 states are currently suing the Trump administration to open up emergency funds for SNAP benefits. Our good friend and occasional co-host of this podcast, State Representative Angie Nixon, has went on Instagram, all social medias, time and time again, asking for y'all governor, because he ain't my governor, y'all governor, Ronald Dion DeSantis, to declare a state of emergency for us to be able to get SNAP benefits reopened here in the state of Florida. And as of right now, that's not a case.
Yeah, but not only that, but she managed to get all of the Senate and House Democrats, every single one, to sign on to this letter. Right. I'm going to tell you right now, I've been working in this since 2017. I've worked in those offices before in the legislature. I have never seen every single Democrat sign on to one thing. We did it with this. And who listened, though? The governor of New York, actually, must have seen what we were doing down here in Florida because she went ahead and declared a state of emergency in the state of New York to help 3 million New Yorkers who are about to lose access to food because of the GOP shutdown. So at least something's happening somewhere. But yes, there are people working here for you in the state. They are trying, but you're right. Y'all's governor said he doesn't care. So
the starvation is the point. So then you lose your house, then you can go to these detention camps.
Right, because they brought up all the farmland. They brought up all the farmland too. That's why the farmers don't even understand. That's why they was cool.
The corporate landlords are gonna come buy your stuff up. Yeah. And you're gonna be out here looking stupid because you certainly didn't want the black farmers to have the funding they were owed even under the Biden administration. But even those same black farmers were like, hey, we just want to warn y'all, this coming for you too. No, it's not.
No, it's not, guys. It's not. You guys are so DEI folks. But so now I want to have a conversation with these individuals, none of which are the individuals that's on this podcast. I want to have a conversation with the individuals who are your rise and grind individuals. Hey guys, if you just work harder, you won't have to depend on SNAP benefits. Let's
bootstrap people.
Yeah, the bootstraps.
Yeah, we got the rise and grinds. We got the bootstraps. Okay, what else?
The rise and grinds, the bootstraps. Hey guys, we all got the same 24 hours.
You're just not investing enough.
You're doing something wrong with your 24 hours.
The manifestants. Manifest, yes. You right? Manifest morning people.
Yeah. Both. Let's give you all a peek into the general demographic of individuals.
Oh, we know. They don't know. We know.
That have SNAP benefits. First off, it's your good friends and mine, the white women, because We definitely don't ever believe that the white women are the major benefactors of SNAP benefits, because Reagan, welfare queens. That was a thing.
DEI was very beneficial to them in corporate spaces as well.
Very much.
That's what they don't seem to realize, that DEI also includes white women. I don't think they know that DEI included them. I think they forget because their husbands is right there, but they don't realize that DEI included their asses too. Like, I don't think they realize that.
In some cases, yeah. Who else? Oh, senior citizens. Senior citizens. Those are definitely a strong demographic of individuals who get SNAP benefits. The disabled.
The veterans that they all claim to love. Everybody just, man, they piss me off.
And your favorite demographic in mine, children. Because hey, we care about the children when they're inside the belly, but once they come out,
they obviously don't care about kids because they arguing about free lunches. They ain't want to give them free food. So what are we talking about? They giving money to ICE instead of giving it to the teachers. I don't want to hear that no more.
So we want to make sure that you all understand that you probably are sitting next to one of the 1 out of 8 people who gets SNAP benefits in this country. Now, SNAP benefits no longer are the case on November the 1st. So what happens, guys? This is what happens. Those people don't get those SNAP benefits. Stuff starts getting a little bit old in these grocery stores, mainly produce. So what happens? We got to remove this produce out. Then what happens? Because we got to remove the produce out, and because we got to remove, see, Natasha, I appreciate you. Because we got to remove the produce out, and because we got to remove a lot of these other things out of the stores that's getting old, prices are going to go up. Prices are going to go up in your grocery stores. Also, because of the fact that this is subsidiary money that is coming from the United States government, who benefits the most from making sure they get this SNAP money? These grocery stores.
Walmart is at the top of the list. Walmart benefits from SNAP benefits the most. Literally, the Walmart, this is why it's so stupid, because the people that's applauding it don't realize the place that they shop at all the time literally only exists, probably is only able to maintain because of SNAP benefits. Like the people that speak on lazy people and this and that third don't even realize, to really qualify for food stamps, you got to work and have work credits to even go off of in the first place. And if you can't work, you don't get food stamps. I don't know why they keep saying that. Like, you don't get food stamps unless you're disabled. You can't work. You got a kid, a little baby. I've seen women with 4 kids for the proper folks, 4 kids that got less than I did when I was homeless and didn't have nowhere to live at. I got more than a mother with 4 kids. Then that doesn't even make sense, right? Like, from what I understand, right, it's like, what's the number? For every dollar that's spent on SNAP, it adds another $1.54 or something like that back to the GDP. So not only are people going to starve, but also we're taking money out of rotation
in the economy.
In the economy. So food stamps just don't cover food. Like, that covers, you get disabled, you get Medicare. All these things come with food stamps. You get qualified for certain benefits because of food stamps. Like, it's not just like people being lazy and they don't want to work, so they claiming stuff for food. That's not how it works, bro. I wish people would get that idea out of their mouth, that they're somehow more elite than the person that's sitting next to them. If we live in the same neighborhood, buddy, I got news for you. We all poor. We're all broke. There ain't no middle class, lower class. It's them and it's us.
So we also have to recognize that once stuff starts going up and people aren't coming to the grocery stores, what's now going to happen to the individuals that's actually working in the grocery stores? Their hours is going to get cut.
Bro, it ain't no hours for nobody now as it is. Nobody even getting hired. These folks is putting up fake jobs. Amazon firing 60,000 people because they got to invest more in AI chips. Not even to invest more in the company as far as like people, they got to fire 60,000 people to buy more chips because the companies that they rent out CWS to don't have enough CPU power to get more business. So they firing people to get more chips to fire more people, to get more chips to fire more people. Like, this is the train that we're on. And I love how everybody think AI is just so beneficial and everybody making these stupid ass AI videos and blase. Why y'all making these stupid ass AI videos? They're using AI for real things, like tearing our fucking lives apart. Piece by piece.
Sarah Connor stares at you making friends with Chat GPT.
Like,
remember the Terminator? Remember iRobot? Remember it's a few
watch these movies. We watch
Minority Report, where they predictive crime.
Yes.
They try to predict who will commit crime. That's where we're going.
We got a list of movies we going on. The Purge.
Okay. Now the police state, we've been in a police state a long time, especially since the Patriot Act that I believe only Barbara Lee stood up against. She's the mayor of Oakland now. The warrantless wiretaps. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, we've been in that direction. And to buy up software from a pariah nation state like Israel is wild. Where they can break into your phone, encrypt phone, like the new joints.
Yeah. Ring, and to add on to that, Ring just did a deal with the Flock company that's partnered with ICE, basically to give them access to footage to see who they want to see.
It all started with Doge.
There was somebody in the news recently where he said he was somewhere and they found him from footage. He said they found him from footage. Like, I was watching a little documentary, bro. It's like you can't go 10 yards now without being caught on some camera.
The facial recognition technology, they just beat back, I believe, in New Orleans. Trust.
It's so crazy.
They were trying somewhere else.
We have police departments using AI technology to
training with IDF.
You seen the kid?
Yeah.
Did you hear about the kid like that? Like you got AI that's racist? You got racist AI?
Because you can play the algorithm.
How does the police department pull up on the kid, tell him he got a gun,
or a bag
and the
of
kid
chips?
is telling you, "Cuz I got a bag of Doritos."
First of all, it's crazy, right? I grew up in Jersey, in Patterson to be exact. Lean on me. Lean on me, Eastside High School, right? My mother actually moved me to North Carolina before that happened. But Martin Luther King School had metal detectors in their school. And it used to blow my mind when I walked in there because I saw it on Lean on Me, but Lean on Me was out way before I was born. You know what I'm saying? So why was I still seeing that when I was a kid? And you think about that prison to that school to prison pipeline that they always speak about. And I've been to jail, bro. Too many things feel familiar between jail and school. Too many things feel familiar between jail and school when you really look at how they treat us, how we get disciplined, how I get suspended just for having something to say to the teacher, and they ain't like my response. But little Billy can throw chairs across the classroom and he just goes sit in the room for 5 minutes and he's okay. All right. Now you got it to the point where a kid can go to school with a bag of chips and get guns drawn out on them. And that's supposed to be just everybody's going to wave that off and say that's okay. As long as the kid just fix the algorithm. Bro, there are microwaves that stop working. There are TVs that stop working. How are you going to sit here and tell me to trust humanity and trust society when they have proven that they can't make roller coasters work right all the time? You can't make airplanes work right all the time. Matter of fact, you can't even get somebody to fly the airplanes right now. So how am I supposed to trust that AI? Because I know it's only a next step that comes with that. If you already using it in the schools, that's a testing subject. Using it in schools, what's next? And now you done commission these robots. What exactly is next? iRobot, we talk about the movies all the time, but how often does art imitate life and light imitate art? Because we walk in that real thin line of
how you watching The Simpsons.
Bro, like think about this.
The Simpsons called the Trump presidency.
The military is literally like aligning with AI amongst everything. And we got a president that obviously doesn't, not even just a president. Let's just stop putting it on him.
Heritage Foundation, Russell Vought. I can go down the list.
Stephen
Miller. This has been 40 years worth of planning.
Like the whole Project 2025 administration, all of those Heritage Foundation, Palantir, whatever, all these different organizations, we're watching it happen in real time.
And it's interesting because those individuals, 3 of them are from South Africa and opine about the good old days of apartheid. So why not recreate it in America? Even though America inspired at least 2 countries with racial caste systems that were legal.
So let's talk about this because we're gonna move into another subject that both Louie and you brought up earlier in the show. But let's conclude the conversation around SNAP benefits, Ryan. So now that we are pretty much in the space of SNAP benefits being dismantled, at least for the month of October. And I just say at least because we don't know how long this government shutdown is going to last, and we don't know how long they're going to use the government shutdown as an excuse to not feed people, because as we just stated to y'all, the money's there. So what can we do in the meantime to make sure that people are fed? Like let's just keep it real. Keep it a buck. People are fed.
So this goes beyond just food, right? It's toiletries, it's gas, it's all these other things beyond food even, right? Like the South is the Black Belt. You have these Black farmers, and if you're near some, please make connections with them. Okay, if you're in a state that has a good agricultural culture, I can't even, I'm trying to get the words together, right? Like mutual aid infrastructure, like these churches need to get involved. I I'm not gonna hold out hope for mega churches, but if they want to get involved, maybe they need help with an electricity bill. Like it's so many layers to it that in ways in which folks can show up. It's almost like we're entering a protracted disaster. Like we know how we respond after hurricanes, right? The disaster preparedness and disaster resiliency, what we do after the hurricane is over. So and if you're in a state that has a good network of farmers markets, support your local folks, right? Because that's what we're going to have to do anyway as we navigate these neo-fascist times and fascist regime change. It's not going to stop at a government shutdown, right? Like we are having to, at least Black folks are having to revisit the infrastructure that we had during segregation. You all saw centers. Like we had to build our own ecosystem because we know we weren't allowed to go. And that goes to the conversation around integration and wanting the things that white folks had. When we were asking for resources and funding, the SCOTUS said, I will give you this integration. And then proceeded to woefully under-resourced schools, public schools. And we all know that the education dollars tends to follow wealthy white kids in the suburbs. They knew what they were doing. Right. So now you can say, well, the public school system is a failure. Yeah, because you spend more money on the defense budget.
Right.
For these pretend wars and these regime change wars, if we're talking Venezuela now. We all know this is a regime change war, right? Mm-hmm. For resources, among other things. Has nothing to do with Trinidad Agua. I don't even think he knows who that is. You pulled that out your ass, Donald.
He did.
So it's about leaning back into, and at least for the Black community, things we had prior to the end of segregation and rebuilding that infrastructure for the long term. Because I'm normally a hopeful person, but I don't know what this place, this gangster nation, gonna look like once Humpty Dumpty gets done.
I'm not gonna
with us.
We're not even out the first year yet.
Yeah.
And we keep
and it ain't looking so good.
Thinking that the Epstein files going to save us, but what if the Epstein files don't save us? Because the way it's looking, I don't think they're going to leave even if we convict them.
No. This is about ultimately, I'm gonna call a thing a thing. This is going to be white minority rule, deeply entrenched. There was a certain level of fascism with Jim Crow.
Right.
Like this country ain't never been colorblind in its life. Okay, it was baked in by wealthy landowners who were human traffickers, implemented the Electoral College to keep that power structure in place, to protect the Southern planters, if you will.
Right. So
I'm not saying that this country hasn't been in some version of that. But because the demographics of this country is changing and there's nothing they can do about it, they're trying to figure out how to solidify their power and control. And these billionaires and these corporations that are capitulating, even these big law firms here in DC are capitulating. They're rolling out the red carpet. They're like, we don't have to talk about DEI anymore. We can be who we really are. It was all performative, Target. It might have to get to a general strike. I don't know, but we need to lean into the infrastructure that we had previously under Jim Crow. Sorry, I was long-winded.
No, good. So let's discuss one of the many ways that this current administration, as well as these billionaires, are currently trying to keep their power. 2 weeks ago on this past Wednesday, we'll look at the date, the 16th of October. 16th of October was
October 15th. October 15th.
Thank you. 15th of October was the very first day of the arguments in the rehearing of Louisiana versus Calais, a case that could completely dismantle the 1965 Voting Rights Act by completely gutting Section 2 of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. why does this have so much bearing on us here in the state of Florida? Well, as y'all ask, so many states currently right now that's doing this farce of a thing.
Did you see the update? Did you see the update on SNAP benefits?
Mm-hmm.
So apparently it came through that 15 Republican senators have now joined all 47 Democrats in backing legislation to extend SNAP benefits during the shutdown. That means a clear bipartisan majority of senators voted to keep food on the table. Also, they voted 50 to 46 to rescind Trump's tariffs. I think it was 4 Republicans switched sides and joined the Democrats to vote against it to cut off his tariffs. I mean, bro, Jerome Powell done came up on the news multiple times and told us he's killing our economy. As the Fed chair, I know as a white man, y'all want me to succumb. No, what he's doing is wrong. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene. I ain't giving these folks no credit for record.
They're doing the bare minimum, but you know, good for her.
But it seems as if there is a little discourse going on where there's a disconnect between what his core base wanted and where we are now.
Because it's impacting them. Like we could do a lot of things if we address this racism and this patriarchal setup of this country.
Very much
I
so.
swear we could. Because anytime they want something done, it gets done. When it comes to that defense budget, it gets done. And we're not even technically at war. So it's about priorities. And so now that it's impacting, and I've always said, rich white folks can't stand broke ass white folks. And it shows. You know, there are means to an end. And maybe for once they are waking up to that disconnect. Because Lyndon Johnson had this quote. He said, if I can make the poorest white man, hate the poorest black man, have someone or something to hate, he'll pick his pockets for me and give me his money, essentially. I'm cliff noting that.
Yeah, that's what she literally said even her family members are being affected by this. She really did an interview about it. She said, even my family is being affected by this.
And it shouldn't have gotten to that point.
At all. I don't know how the hell y'all couldn't see it in the first place. Like, we literally,
that's why it's a cult.
We're not the professionals. We're not the ones that's hired to spend. We don't got these huge salaries, but how come we could see everything that was going to happen and y'all couldn't? I don't understand how, we're supposed to.
Because when we scream it, it's hyperbole. It's, you're overreacting.
Fear-mongering. They love to say fear-mongering.
That's it.
They love to hit me with the fear-mongering. I got the.
Yes.
They love to hit me with the fear-mongering.
But even with the Democrats, y'all said this man was an existential crisis. Although I will argue black women were warning you before that.
Why you ain't lock his ass up? Why you ain't lock him up? Why didn't y'all?
And for historical context, we should have locked their ass up after the Civil War. Nobody was held accountable.
None.
Which for me is something that should surprise no one, that January 6ers were only temporarily, on a few of them, were held accountable, only to be pardoned later. So here we are. If he's this threat, then act like it. And so if I want to remove power, like I said, it was a meme going around, I voted to be racist, not poor. This is what's happening. They're finally realizing, oh shit, this is impacting me now. Because even with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, it ain't just going to impact black people. Now, they are using it to attack our political power. This is so beyond racial vote dilution. Because if I am a neo-Nazi white supremacist and I'm trying to maintain control, I'm going to go after every lever of remedy and power black people have had access to get this country to do right by us. Nice has never worked for us. We've had to whoop some ass and sue. Okay? These people you can't appeal to somebody's better angels. These folks don't have that.
We need to get that.
We've always had to nuck and buck. Black Panther Party, the food program. Guess who copied off of that? The United States government.
United States government. So one of the things that we do want to touch on is basically making people understand that there are a bunch of states across the country right now that's doing this farce of a thing called mid-decade redistricting. Basically, we only really supposed to be changing these maps every 10 years after the census. But now Texas has done it. North Carolina has done it. It's a few other states.
Indiana,
Maryland,
Missouri, Virginia is trying to do it in response to Texas and them.
As well as Maryland.
Maryland dragging they behind, but it's layered.
So,
but California.
Here in the state of Florida, DeSantis, anything you can do, I can do worse. And so we now have a redistricting committee here in the state of Florida that's actually looking at, this mid-decade redistricting. As early as a few days ago, I'm going to pull up said story. Yesterday, actually, Republican Party of Florida Chair Evan Power predicted Wednesday that the GOP could pick up as many as 5 congressional seats if the legislature moves ahead with a potential mid-decade redistricting. Power made his prediction during a midday gathering of the Capitol Tiger Bay Club, where he laid out a case to flip seats now held by Democrats in the Tampa and Orlando areas, as well as 2 seats in South Florida. You're looking at a place in Florida where we could pick up 3-4 seats, and that would bring us more in line to where we are in our voting population, said Power, who then upped the total to 5 when talking to reporters. I hope the legislature does it because we deserve that kind of representation. So currently right now in Congress for the state of Florida, we have 28 seats. We gained a seat thanks to the 2020 census. In 2010, 63% of Floridians, not the state legislature, Florida voters, 63% of Florida voters in 2010 voted in favor of an amendment that was added to the state constitution known as the Fair Districts Amendment that would ensure us that things such as racial gerrymandering, partisan gerrymandering, things of that nature would not happen to our congressional maps here in the state of Florida. However, we can't even say that was the case even in 2022 because your boy, Ron DeSantis, handed the state legislature a map that would ensure that 21 seats would be given to the Republican Party, 7 seats would be given to the Democrats due to the way that it was gerrymandered. He got his wish. Now, the chair of the Florida Republican Party, Evan Power, is saying that if they go through with this situation of mid-decade redistricting, they get 5 more seats. So it would take them to 26, and it will put the Democrats at only 2 seats in Congress for the state of Florida, which, according to the Fair Districts Amendment in the state constitution, is illegal and unconstitutional because it would be partisan gerrymandering. But of course, as we all know, these people don't care nothing about rules. They only care about power. Ryan, your thoughts?
Well, Florida. She's such a wretched vigilante heifer. Texas is up there too. But again, this is in line with what we're seeing, except this time Texas was first out the gate, right? And I suspect the reasoning behind doing this at the start of legislative session next year is by then SCOTUS would have made a decision on Calais. And I wouldn't be far-fetched to also believe that there are other state legislatures that we don't know yet about their plans to gerrymander. And I say gerrymander for a reason, okay? Because it's strategic cheating. It's strategic cheating. The white districts, the predominantly white districts in Texas did not change. But guess who's did? Jasmine Crockett and Al Green. So you can't sit here and tell me and lie that this is about partisanship. This is about minority rule. It's about control. However, at least with Florida, we have fair district amendments. What he's doing, we can take that ass to court over. Because if 63%, and I'd imagine bipartisan 63% of voters wanted the fair district amendments for exactly this time for which we are in. Now, the other states doing this, they don't have that luxury of having a fair district amendment on the books. So navigating this in the courts is how many of these states are having to, without a protection like we had in Florida, they're having to navigate the judicial process and sue, find judicial remedy for these maps. However, if the Supreme Court decides to take out Section 2, that would effectively neuter the Voting Rights Act of 1965. That would mean that Pamela Jo Bondi would have control over future lawsuits around matters such as this if the private right of action cases go to Clarence and them down the street in DC. So all of this is connected. I say that to say all of this is connected. Florida, this is the latest in Florida's effort to drown out the voices of a significant portion of the population. Florida's 20 million people strong. It's in line with Ron's behavior historically. Right. Black people live rent-free in his head. It's like he's jealous or something. And I would even argue, he's trying to control who runs the state in the future long term, even after he leaves office. And I don't need to tell you all how diverse Florida is. It's not just Black people from the Deep South. It's Black people from the Caribbean diaspora. We've got, I believe we have an emergent population coming in from the continent of Africa. We got a deeply entrenched Haitian community in Florida. Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Venezuelans, just everybody is in Florida. And Florida, I would argue, is on track to be, for lack of a better term, minority majority sooner rather than later. And so it's really all about this larger narrative that this country's changing, and power sharing in their minds is a zero-sum game to these crazy people.
We've had United States Supreme Court justices reference the Fair Districts Amendment in other redistricting cases as a case study for other states to use when it comes to realigning their maps. Like actual United States Supreme Court justices have stated, if you want to adopt a way of proper redistricting in your state, look at how it's done in Florida. And we are about to be at the peak, if you will, of high-level gerrymandering in this state to the degree of, oh man, we got 21 seats. That's not enough. I need 26.
And the trend has been to attack legislators of color, right? Particularly Black electeds. It's happening to Don Davis right now in North Carolina. He's finding out. Okay. And so this is really truly about controlling who has the power, political voice. We're so far beyond racial vote dilution. These maps are about resources because they're connected to the census. This is how much money we can get in our communities. It's so many layers to it. And then to have the prospect of losing Section 2 would take away our judicial remedies. And if the private right of action cases go through, that means we will lose our ability to sue around these matters. So it's all connected. And Florida, I would say, was probably a test ground even before all of this around states where the governor and legislature have unilateral control on how the maps look. So, and we're seeing how supermajorities operate when they have complete control over the maps after a redistricting process. Every 10 years, we've seen that. And this governor didn't even want to ask for resources in 2020, which was wild. So the fact that we were able to get redistricting done in Florida in 2020 was a goddamn miracle.
In and of itself. Louie, bro, you about to slide out because I know, Porch Fest, it's about to be a major thing. Tell everybody where they can find you at and tell everybody, final words from you. Not from the episode, but from
man. As always, man, I love you when you bring me on the platform. Love having educated conversations, you know what I'm saying? And my supporters love me being on platforms like this because they get to learn. So appreciate you, brother, man. Porch Fest, November 8th, Springfield, Jacksonville. They didn't give you boy co-headliner, you know what I'm saying? And I come and show, I come to brag on rap and being Black. That's what I come to do and walk people through my story. You know what I'm saying? If you know me or if you follow me for a while, you know my fight with mental health and how I advocate for Black men to be more open. I like to think myself as a platform that highlights that, but also shows how you can overcome. So if you relate, you know what I'm saying, follow me on all platforms, music, acting, podcasting, speaking. I do it all. At Broadway Louie. You can also find me at On The Ave, the podcast on YouTube, Patreon link coming soon for new subscribers. Porch Fest, November 8th. I'm also filming the Hunting Club right now. That's going to be pretty dope. And then I'm wrapping up my other film. We end up having to do reshoots because a lot of footage got messed up, unfortunately. But man, I got 2 premieres coming soon. And new album, New World Order. I wanted to go with a wrestling theme. Yeah. It's crazy, bro. I really I play with imposter syndrome sometimes. And sometimes I be holding on to music for way too long. But thank God for the people that surround me because they keep telling me, bro, why are you holding on to this music? Now everybody's been listening to the album and they're like, bro, I didn't know you could rap like this. And I'm like, I've been could rap like this. I did the R&B rap album. So y'all got caught up in that, but I really rap for real. So shout out to everybody that's supporting the album. Download it everywhere on all streaming platforms. LOU World Order. It's a flip on NWO. If you watch wrestling at some point, it's still, we don't fuck with Hulk Hogan, but the impact was the impact. You know what I mean? So thank you again, brother, man. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Rhyane. I really enjoyed speaking with you. I love the knowledge. It's such a joy speaking with both of y'all. Be safe, and until next time.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you.
Sir.
Listen, Ryan. So we're gonna keep we gonna keep moving on. So what can we do now to make sure that we raise an awareness about this mid-decade farce that's going down in the space?
So I will say what has come of this is a request for information and education on the redistricting process as a whole. It's not a sexy issue generally. And so what's happening has forced the conversation earlier than I would have anticipated, but also making the distinctions between redistricting and what's going on now, which is gerrymandering, right? Yeah. And you're cutting out marginalized groups to maintain control of your respective state. We should never be in a society where the electeds choose their voters. This is what this is essentially. That's why I say strategic cheating. And it speaks volumes that they're doing this ahead of the 2026 midterms. Because quite frankly, it's a whole lot of us of different socioeconomic statuses that are not happy with what's going on. Nobody asked for this. I know I didn't to have this added to, the workflow in my day job, but it is forcing the conversation around the redistricting process as a whole, what that means in terms of resources for folks, why the census is important. White folks fill out their census, okay? Mm-hmm. But when it comes to us, Black folks, our Latinx communities, it's a more complex conversation because us, the census, what you want me to fill out what? Why? Us. I had folks thinking that we were still gonna come to their door. Like, no, actually, you don't. You're not gonna see me come to your door.
I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. You can just go online.
We don't have to do that no more. And kind of almost starting from scratch just on that. But like, what does that mean for our communities moving forward as these individuals cheat? Because
that's what they're doing.
That says more about you, that you're willing to cheat this early because you suspect you might not win next year. Right. But it's also about political power. Like I said before, we've always had to fight for every single inch, every single mile as a community. As we try to move towards collective liberation, voting is just one aspect, right? It's not the end all be all. But this is about, arresting power from Black folks, particularly. Because, most candidates know you need to have some Black support to win an election.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will say, just keeping informed, especially if you're in a state where this is happening, because in Missouri, there's also a push to threats to the citizen initiative process there, because a lot of that direct democracy, if you will, has been successful in things like codifying Roe, protecting reproductive rights, legalizing marijuana in some other states. And so the things that people want overwhelmingly, like rights restoration in Florida, these bad actors are working hard behind the scenes to fight against, because God forbid your population get educated about the other forms of direct democracy. So
exactly.
In Florida with their State Voting Rights Act, like there's a push to make sure we're protected, but that can't happen without public pressure. And so I'm a firm believer in public pressure. Let these legislators see your face. Go to your city council and county commissions. These gerrymandering efforts are also impacting state representation. It's impacting city and county representation in municipalities. So it ain't just about who's representing you in DC. Okay. And these school board fights lately, you see a lot of Moms for Liberty, like trust and believe they're plotting. Even when they lose, they're locking and reloading. And we need to, on the pro-democracy side, do the same thing. And I know that sounds like a lot for folks, but at minimum, we need to be staying engaged with what's happening. Having these conversations in community, talking about the threats to SNAP benefits, the threats to resources in general to our communities, because 9 times out of 10, it normally comes from census results, right?
Absolutely.
So, I'm not out here being like, go vote. That's cool. But also know who is allegedly representing you. Mm-hmm. Okay. And show up to these meetings, right? Because they're anticipating people won't care as much about these school board meetings and these city councils. And that's where a lot of the dirty work can happen, right? Because people aren't paying attention. And people have a lot going on. So that's not an indictment, right? People are trying to pay bills. Rent is high. Utility bills are high. Okay. It is still hurricane season. Okay?
Still,
and Florida got a governor using the FEMA funds for internment camps. So it's a lot going on, and vet your resources even.
Yeah.
Don't listen to TikTok for everything. I love y'all, but the artist formerly known as Twitter is probably not where you should be getting all your information.
Definitely not. And definitely not from Instagram either.
Oh my God, no. Especially now you're seeing these media mergers and these purchases of social media platforms. They're going to be even less trustworthy as a primary source. And so I'm a huge fan of independent media. I read a lot, surprise. Google is your friend in most cases, but not every case. I'm a big believer in peer-reviewed sources.
But just think, a lot of y'all don't read books.
Listen,
and that's why we here.
And lean into community. My God, if you don't know, ask somebody who does, and don't be embarrassed. Like, I don't know everything. Because
I'm not
an attorney. I can't.
His thing that y'all don't realize. And shout out to Deontay Kyle of Gris and Ed's podcast.
Yeah.
And Kristen Smith of the Faith Community. Dope episode that they dropped this past week. The revolution is not going to be planned out on social media.
It's really not.
The revolution is not going to be planned out in Zoom. You're going to have to start knowing the people that you have to start knowing the people that you are around. You have to start really knowing your neighbors and really knowing your community and really knowing who are the real hitters in your community. I mean, Ryan already said it, man. Like, go to some of these city council meetings, these school board meetings. Shout out to our good friends over at Equal Ground Education Fund, who's making sure that people are attending these legislative delegation meetings in their local counties as we're gearing up for legislative session in January here in the state of Florida. But yeah, like, you got to even know who your state delegation is. In your local
North Carolina, even Advanced Carolina does great work. NC Counts, North Carolina Black Alliance. Trying to shout out some of our folks. If you want to keep track of what's going on in Texas, they're different. I follow Texas Civil Rights Project, but there's more than that. Power Coalition of Louisiana, like, there are resources, y'all, out here.
Shout out to Alabama Values over in Alabama as well.
Shout out to Alabama Values. Really dope organizations out here doing the work on the ground. Because trust and believe, the infrastructure is being built. And these folks been put on notice. We're not gonna sit here and let this happen.
We're gonna fight. That question is always asked, what would you do if you were in the civil rights movement era?
Arrested.
What you're doing now is what you would have done then.
I'd be in jail.
because we're living in that era now.
Yeah, I would.
Before we conclude, before we conclude with the episode, I want to give a shout out. I want to send love to our brothers and sisters over in the Caribbean who is dealing with Hurricane Melissa. As y'all all know, the state of Florida is heavily Black Caribbean population. And, we really need to be concerned a lot with our brothers and sisters across the diaspora. So shout out to those in Jamaica and Haiti. We sending y'all a whole lot of love and a whole lot of love, a whole lot of prayers and positive energy during this time. If y'all follow us at BLKFLA, the podcast, we're going to be dropping a lot of content around how y'all can donate and how y'all can send supplies out from Florida to those over in Jamaica and Haiti, as well as we're going to share a lot of things that's going on across the state as it relates to these SNAP benefit relief type efforts. Because listen, y'all, like, we all we got for real. it ain't nobody else. This country ain't coming to save us. This country is absolutely not coming to save us at all. And so I think the next time that we make a touchdown here at BLKFLA the podcast, we're gonna do an episode around the Black diaspora, and let's destroy a little bit of these diaspora wars going on, because we're gonna all need each other across the diaspora in this crucial period that this country is going through. Any last words, Ryan?
I think you captured everything. We got.
Listen.
And lean in.
All we got. So shout out to Natasha Sutherland, the co-host with the most. Shout out to State Rep Michele Rayner. Shout out to Broadway Louie for coming through. Shout out to you, of course, again, Ryan, for always, showing up and showing out. And as always, this is Jamal still showing y'all love and appreciation for joining us on this BLKFLA experience. Stay free, stay blessed, and as always, continue to get acquainted with greatness. We out, y'all. Yeah.
Revolution was a movie, I be theme music. Time to ignite what I spit is light and fluid. Stepping into it, fixed rays, such a glorious design. Marching into the biggest fight of our lives. Time to spoil the revolution.